Hey, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to talk about areas of circles. So, area of a circle is something that a lot of people stress about because they've dealt with it before. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Circumference of a circle, there's two formulas. The one we're going to use, just to keep everything kind of uniform, is 2 pi r. We're going to make you find the radius always, and then work from that. Okay? So the thing that freaks everybody out is pi. Well, the good news is that in geometry and in algebra 2 and in pre-cal and all your math classes after this, unless you're dealing with a real life situation, like the amount of material you need to make a beach ball, or we're talking circles here, not spheres, so the amount of area in a pizza, something like that, then you don't actually have to use pi. You leave it alone. Okay, you leave it in terms of pi. We're going to treat it kind of like a variable, kind of like x. So 3 times 5 times x would be 15x. You don't do anything else with that. It's just 15x. And that's kind of how we're going to treat pi, because that's an exact answer. If we use 3.14, that's an estimate. We want exact answers. That's one of the reasons we learn about special right triangles. Those are exact answers instead of being approximates. So I'm going to run you through how these will work pretty much. It's not too difficult. One thing you do need to know, if you don't already, is that the radius is the diameter divided by 2. Or if you prefer, you could say the diameter is 2 radii. Okay. Either way, if you're given the diameter, you're going to divide it by 2 to find out what the radius is, because that's what's in our formulas, is the radius. So here we go. Taking this one right here, that is a radius. Starts in the center of the circle and goes to the side. So we know the radius is 4. That's the other great thing about this, guys, is there's only one variable, the radius. My God, that's so easy. Okay, it's not like you got to find a base and a height, or a base 1 and a base 2 and a height. No, it's just a radius. So when you're looking for the circumference and the area, area is 2 times pi times the radius. Area is pi r squared. Circumference is 2 pi r. So I'm literally just going to plug a 4 in right there. So this becomes pi times 4 squared. And this is now 2 times pi times 4. Well, 4 squared is 16. 4 squared is 16. 2 times 4 is 8. Ladies and gentlemen, those are our answers. The area is 16 pi and the circumference is 8 pi. This is actually 16 pi units squared, and this is just going to be in units because area is always squared. But folks, that's it. That's all there is to this. Down here on this next one, the diameter is given. Diameter goes all the way across the circle. If the diameter is 12 and the radius is the diameter divided by 2, so the radius is 12 divided by 2, or 6. You do not have to do all of this. If you know to cut that in half, just say, okay, the radius is 6. But I just need to make sure you see the steps to how we got there. So again, the area is pi r squared, and the circumference is 2 pi r. I'm going to do these one at a time this time. So this is going to be pi times 6 squared, or 36 pi. That's it, 36 pi units squared. That's the answer. This one is going to be 2 times pi times 6, or 12 pi units. Not units squared, just units. And that's it. Now, sometimes you are given a problem such as this, and you're told you have to work backwards. And on this one, flip these. These are actually, this is the harder of the two, but I want to go through and show you how to work both of them. So we are get this one, we're given the area, we're asked what the circumference is. So remember that the area is pi r squared. Well, in this case, we know the area is 81 pi. So, all right, now, one thing I was taught when I was doing, when I was going through school is that this is like a balance scale. Whatever's over here is equal to whatever's over here. It's balanced. And if I wanted to take something off of both sides, so I took the same thing off, I can. As long as, you know, as long as all you're doing is multiplying, you can totally do that. See, all this is multiplying. Multiplying here, 81 times pi, and pi times the radius times the radius. That's what that is. Everything is being multiplied. You can literally just take pi off. And so 81 equals r squared. And this is kind of like that last step of the Pythagorean theorem problem. Anytime you have r squared, to get rid of the r, to get rid of the squared, to find out just what the radius is, you take the square root. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of r squared is r. So the radius is 9. I can now plug that in to this formula. The circumference is 2 pi r. I know the radius is 9. So the circumference is 2 times pi times 9, or 18 pi. And that's it. That's how you find the circumference if you're given the area. On this one, the circumference of a circle is 14. What's the area? Well, it's the opposite now. Circumference is 2 pi r. I know the circumference is 14 pi. 2 pi r. I see that I have a pi on both sides. I'm going to get rid of it. So 14 is 2r. Well, to get r by itself, I don't take the square root because it says 2 times r. I divide both sides by 2. And so this side will be 7, and that side's just going to be r. The radius is 7. So now I come over here where I have the area formula, and I plug in my 7. And that's it. And it technically should be units squared. Sorry, I didn't put units right there. So that is the area. Okay? And that's circles. That's the area of circles. That's working backwards. That's working forwards. That's everything having to do with circles, except the real life problem. And if we had a real life problem, we would tell you, this is a real life problem. Ding, 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 ding. You know, use 3.14. We'll write it down, we'll say it, we'll let you know. This is a real life problem. So now when you're done, you would actually just change this pi to 3.14. And you'd multiply 49 times 3.14 and you'd get your answer. Okay, but you work the problem out otherwise the exact same way every time. Okay, if you get this far and you forget to put 3.14 in, if it's a real life problem, at least you can get partial credit for that. Anyways, I hope that helps. That's circles in a nutshell, and I hope you have a good spring break. I don't know if you're watching this before or after, but hope you either have or have had a good spring break.